What is up, guys? For the last video of the year, I thought it would be a cool idea to just look back at the most OP Pokemon that just defined our meta throughout the entire year. These Pokemon were so often played and had such OP builds, I think it's pretty much unforgettable. So we start straight up at rank 5 with Tyranitar. Tyranitar had a pick rate at some point of 52.59%. All these 5 Pokemon in this list were picked at least 50% of the time in any game. That's how ridiculous they were. So yeah, Tyranitar on release. Some people might not agree with it that this Pokemon was OP. But this Pokemon is absolutely nuts on release. It was so tanky. Look at this ancient power shield. Yes, we're still in the old map as well. That's how long ago it actually was when Tyranitar got released. And the damage it dealt, the Unite move was still critting. Let's not forget that. Ancient power shield was massive. We had Unite move critting, which got removed. And this Pokemon was just absolutely pain. Combined with the Blissey as well that a lot of people played, it became almost impossible to face this. And not having a Tyranitar yourself, it's still absolutely insane as well. Right now, Tyranitar is still a great Pokemon, but nothing compared to how it was, right? It's very uncomparable when you hit those 2000 crits on your Unite move and you just emote on the entire enemy team like it's nothing. And pretty much also not die. You can see it tanking the Terraria Charizard Unite like it's nothing, then doing 2200 damage on our Unite move. And it was just ridiculous. It felt so unfair to play against. Again, as soon as this Pokemon had some sort of support as well, there was nothing you could do about it. It had a support, a healer, and you were done for. So that was rank 5. On rank 4, we have something I think a lot of people also want to forget about, which was the Psycho Cut buff. They made a change to Psycho Cut where Night Slash is start, and its Unite move up, so its Unite move also can proc those Night Slash or Psycho Cut marks. And you can see the Gengar just getting deleted there. This build had a 53.23% play rate, or Absol had, not this build in particular, but pretty much all we saw was Psycho Cut and Night Slash. Just one-shotting everything on cooldown, which resolved in Absol receiving nerfs after nerf after nerf after nerf. So they might make Psycho Cut a thing, and in exchange, the Absol mains had to suffer afterwards, because I mean, I really liked Absol, and since then, this Pokemon just has received nerf after nerf. But it was such a ridiculous build. I feel like there was almost no rank game without an Absol back then. It was there in every single game. You could one-shot Rayquaza, I mean Zapdos, no, there was not Rayquaza yet. You could one-shot Zapdos, you can one-shot Dreadnoughts with a Psycho Cut Unite move as well. It was just ridiculous damage you were getting, you were dealing. And really just didn't feel fair at all. And yeah, Psycho Cut, I mean, it was very fun though. Like, just seeing people explode in Psycho Cut Night Slash. In retrospect, it was probably not a good change. It was a great change for Psycho Cut, of course. They made it finally a thing, because it was a terrible ability for pretty much since the existence of this game. No one ever played Psycho Cut. It was always Sucker Punch. And yeah, but yeah, this is number 4. For number 3 on this list, we have to go very far back to January, where the Unite devs, they buffed Close Combat and Slow Smoke at the same time, which resulted in one of the most OP builds I think ever existed in Pokemon Unite history. The Close Combat Slow Smoke Lucario. Close Combat started healing, you were unstoppable during it, and Slow Smoke was one of the best active items ever made as well, or ever buffed. And what it did is just, it creates a zone, it was slowed, and people kept being slowed forever. Even if you were out of the circuit, you were still slowed. So all you did was lay down your Slow Smoke with a Close Combat, one-shot entire team, see back up to full HP on, bees as well. It was absolutely ridiculous how much this build, started doing. And it started just catching on very fast. It was played in so many games. Again, what was the pick rate? The pick rate was 63.17%. Now we're in the 60 numbers. So 60% of the time, 63% of the time, Lucario was picked, which gives again, place 3. Lucario currently in the meta has dropped off a bit, but has always still been a stable Pokemon since pretty much the release of this game. But I think this was probably the peak, at least last year. Since then, Lucario has obviously not been as broken anymore, but Close Combat. And, we can look at some highlights as well. We just go back to the start. It was so ridiculous. You put on the Slow Smoke, and even if the eject button out of it, they were still just getting destroyed. You could just wipe an entire team with it. It did insane damage, insane healing, and it's just this combo of Slow Smoke and Power Up, and Slow Smoke and Close Combat that you couldn't get out of. You put it down, they get stuck in it, and you just kill them. It was so easy and absolutely insane. Now, on place number 2, another thing you just want to forget about is the Mr. Mime meter. Mr. Mime, I think, was one of the reasons this game has dropped in popularity throughout this year. I think the game was doing great, and then this Mr. Mime meter, he was one of the reasons why I think a lot of people started quitting the game again. unironically, because it was so overpowered and was so boring to play against Mr. Mime every single game. We had a pick rate of 65.35%, so over 65% this Pokemon was played. And yeah, it deserves the second spot. It was so oppressive. Back then with Power Swap Psychic, was Confusion during this time was actually bugged. And it came even stronger almost back, but yeah, the Power Swap Psychic bit was very easy to play. Put Power Swap onto someone, start healing, use Psychic, they get stunned around you, and you made an ally unkillable, you were unkillable, while also dealing incredible amounts of damage. So what they did is, first they removed Guard Swap and made it to Power Swap, so complete rework. Guard Swap used to just swap defense stats and special defense stats with your opponents, which was quite bad for Mr. Mime most of the time, if you like wanted to kill a squishy Pokemon. Power Swap straight up just started healing from level 6 on. Guard Swap only healed on level 13, so we had instant healing from level 6 on. On an ally, you gave them damage, and on an enemy, you reduced their damage. And Guard Swap didn't do any of these things. Guard Swap was pretty much just a pretty bad buff. The only thing Guard Swap was useful for was move speed for Mr. Mime, the level 13 healing, and then also just being able to confuse someone always, right? That's what Guard Swap was good at. Always hitting a confusion without having to hit a wall. And they just made it into Power Swap, which was just absolutely busted. It was like still one of the most insane reworks of nobility I've ever seen in this game. And that gives Mr. Mime a deserved rank 2. I'm actually curious if people were able to guess the rank 1 Pokemon. This was the most picked Pokemon in 2022 during a certain, like a short period of time, which was Draladon. And you guys can't believe this number. It was 79.79%. Looking at this graph right here, on this Unite API where I have the stats from, it doesn't even show. Like, it's so far off the graph that it doesn't even show the wave anymore. Absolutely insane. 79.79% pick rate. And it was deserved. This Pokemon might have just been one of the most OP releases ever. Or it's probably the most OP release ever. Maybe together with someone like Mystic Fire Sylveon, or Sylveon in general. This Pokemon was absolutely ridiculous. It did so much damage. It secured everything. I was still speechless about it. How this Pokemon made it into the live servers. And yeah, we saw Draladon being just a stable Pokemon pretty much for the entire history now. Has still played a lot, and this Pokemon just doesn't go anywhere. It's just so strong of a Pokemon. And you can see it was probably on the highest death time as I had, 42 right here. This was a game where we had ended up with 191,000 damage. It was hilarious how OP this Pokemon was. And that is rank 1. And now I'm going to talk about a few other Pokemon who also reached more than 40%. So surprisingly, someone like Venusaur reached 41%. That is the one above 40% with the lowest number. Venusaur has been a stable Pokemon for such a long time. We had a Petidance and Giga Drain meta for quite a while, and that Pokemon was very, very strong. Then we have Eldegoss at 43%. Eldegoss at the start of the year was still one of the best Pokemon or the best supports. Was pretty much, you had to pick it before Blissey became a thing. Blissey until then was still like kinda so Eldegoss was the thing. And then next on this list is Blissey. Blissey at some point, also 43% at its highest peak in pick rate, overtook Eldegoss and became the stable support for quite a long time. Next up we have Pikachu. Yeah, Pikachu. Pikachu, not forgettable as well at the start of the year. It was one of the meta attackers you played on bot lane, especially also in tournaments. In the 1-1-3 meta, Pikachu was very, very popular and, you know, was played in a lot of games. Then we have Mew. No one can forget about Mew as well. The My Mew Glaceon meta was very, very oppressive, and those two also had over 40% pick rate. Then we have Greninja. Greninja, as you can see in this game is here right now, was very popular, 47% pick rate at one point in the game. The Surf build was absolutely insane. It did so much damage. Since then, it also received nerfs on the Surf build, which was absolutely deserved because this Pokemon was very, very hard to deal with and very, very annoying to play against. Then we have Hoopa. We can't forget about Hoopa either. Hoopa was a game-deciding Pokemon, 46% win rate on Hoopa. So actually getting 7th place. We remember the Hoopa against Hoopa, both portaling on Zapdos, and every Pokemon just going for Zapdos like it's a nothing. And then for the 6th place, the last one on this list for now, we have Blastoise. I think people would have maybe not expected this, but Blastoise received a buff on Water Spout, which it started to, you know, be there for the entire Rapid Spin duration. So you just Rapid Spin Water Spout, and since then Blastoise has also received nerfs to this build, or in general, because it was so strong to have a permanent Water Spout on your Rapid Spin. They went a bit too far with that change, but it was a good change there. I think that's something that was good, and they tweaked it until then, and since now, it's still a solid build, right? Water Sport Rapid Spin is still one of my favorite builds to play as well. It's very fun and gets a lot of work done. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish you hopefully a great 2023, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!